Hey, what is going on, crypto people? Hey, listen, I just wanted to do a little quick kind of mini Talk That Talk Thursday slant crypto, just considering that the market is just kind of going crazy right now. I thought I would share just some little crypto stuff, and I'm going to end with a little Talk That Talk. So I came across this post on X from APXK32. It says Bitcoin's price fractals based on the power law support. That's a new model out. Apparently, it's better than the Plan B, and it's from a Giovanni guy and Fred Krueger. Kind of really brought Giovanni's power law cycle in reference to tracking Bitcoin into the lane. What I want to say the brought more light on it, a better shine on it. Like Giovanni was kind of doing this thing, but Fred Krueger kind of took it to another level and became this kind of famed superstar for this power law model. Bitcoin price fractals based on the power law support a 4-year cycle period show the potential price action of the current cycle. Potential price law. Cycle tops November 2025. This dude actually has a date on here. 8 November 2025. Bitcoin at $227,328. Says 2021 fractal in parentheses. 16th December 2025. 271,000 roughly. 2017 fractal. 4 December, interesting these dates, 2025, 193,000. It's interesting. 2013 fractal. 3 different fractals. Kind of like somewhat like blockchain backer does when he's doing his tracking. Interesting, the dates. Interesting that it's at the very end of the year of 2025. It's interesting. All right, near-term lows. Prices could fall between 36,000 and 47,000 while staying aligned with previous cycles. He says here in parentheses, or stars, I don't expect to see price move below 50,000 without a significant equity market correction. These are references, not predictions. They help us assess probabilities and set realistic expectations based on past data. Let's see here. In June, I wrote an article demonstrating how you could use Bitcoin's power law support and a decaying exponential fit of the price slant support ratio to create forecast fractals. I'm not in love with the decaying exponential price support fit. My favorite metric is the years ahead measure that I discuss frequently. Simply put, this tells you how long it will be before the power law support forces prices upwards. While revisiting the fractal concept, I realized that I could use the time ahead metric to create future price fractals without using the price support fit at all. In this plot, I grabbed 3 4-year segments and project them forward in time, normalized by the years ahead measure. You can treat these as possible futures, assuming the 4-year cycle continues. In the comments below, I've added a few of my related works, Bitcoin Power Law, Contours for Forecast Fractals. This animation helps to describe the power law support and the years ahead of support measure. The video in there, interesting. So this article walks you through the initial fractal concept that was based on the price support ratio fit. He's got here Bitcoin hits 190 in 2025. In the 3 steps, I will show you how to create a simple math-based estimate of Bitcoin's price trajectory over the next 4 years. Okay, cool. All right, so that's pretty good stuff there. Interesting dates. Again, the power law has become kind of like the model, if you will. We're trying to kind of figure out some estimates and guesstimates for tops and prices for Bitcoin. I found that to be very, very interesting. Meta Lawman put this out. Caitlin Long posted this. Thanks to the 7 who filed amicus briefs in Custodia Bank's case versus the FED against the Fed. I am deeply grateful 3 ex-U.S. Solicitor Generals, 2 from the Obama reign and 1 from the Bush reign, plus an ex-Solicitor General of VA, I don't know if that's Virginia or something else, are now involved in our case. Wyoming Secretary of State asked this: can the Federal Reserve say with a straight face that a 772-page bank examination manual for SPDIs is really a race to the bottom, especially while the Federal Reserve itself allows such activities to take place in other banks today without adopting any standards for banks at all? Metalama reposted Caitlin's post and said the Fed made a monumental strategic error when it picked a fight with Caitlin Long. Caitlin obviously subscribes to the Chicago way. They pull a knife, you pull a gun. Caitlin has the biggest of big guns behind her. Eleanor Terry had something to say about this as well. Former Solicitor General under Obama, Donald Verrilli, says regulators are deliberately debanking crypto. Despite the digital assets industry's pressing need for banking services, federal regulators have waged a concerted, coordinated campaign to debank the industry. And my talk that talk is, why? Why this concerted effort by the regulators to debank the industry? You know, I could send you some XRP. You could send me some Bitcoin. I don't have to ask for permission. You don't have to ask for permission. We can send each other. We can create an economy. We can move money amongst ourselves without having to ask for permission. Today, you go into some banks today, and you can't pull out your own money from the bank. I'm showing you video after video after video. I just saw one the other day in the UK. Dude was like, why are you not allowing me to pull my money out of this bank? What's a bank in the UK? It's becoming very, very obvious to me what's going on here. And it's really, really, really scary. Federal regulators have waged a concerted, coordinated campaign to debank the industry. This is one of the people filing the amicus brief. I believe with Caitlin Long. Here's a woman trying to start a bank, a Bitcoin bank, fully deposit, full reserves, 100%, and plus I think it's 100 and something percent. I think it might be 110% reserved, fully backed, and they won't let her. And they're doing all kinds of things to try to stop her. You gotta ask yourself why that is. I'm on the notion. I'm going to play this video here, and this is part of my Talk That Talk Thursday. It's alarming what has happened. And the people have let it happen, and it started ever since 1913. But, you know, we're becoming more and more aware of what's really, really going on. These fights with the Federal Reserve now, this is going to go behind to the courts with the presidents, and, you know, maybe again, Senator Massey will begin to step in to do some things. But I want to have you guys listen to this video. Everything you have ever heard about America being a democracy or even a constitutional republic is a flat out lie. Ever since 1913, we've had a central banker-owned plutocracy. Take a listen to this video.
Prior to 1913, the American people had direct veto power against spending policies of the federal government, because in order for the federal government to borrow any money, it had to go to the people. There was no central bank it could go to. They had to sell bonds If you didn't want to go to war, you didn't buy the bonds. If you didn't want this pork project that the government had in mind, you didn't buy the bonds. It was a very simple system, a Republican system whereby you had veto power, economic veto power. And it worked very well until 1913. That's how come government managed to stay small, because it didn't have an unlimited credit line to go on a shopping spree for 80 years and make you pay for it. So in 1913, there was this convenient new arrangement made. The Federal Reserve Act created an unlimited credit line for the federal United States government to borrow directly from the Federal Reserve Bank, and obligated the American people to pay it back, completely bypassing what was our veto power. And they no longer had to come to us directly to ask permission to fund something. They went directly to the bank. Now, if you go to the bank and want to borrow some money, what do you got to do? You got to put collateral up, right? They're not going to give you a $5,000 loan if you have no collateral, if it's unsecured. You're going to have to put up your house, your car, your land, or something, right?
Yeah, that is exactly right. What's her name? Lynette Zhang has been sounding the alarm. She has a great video here. I highly recommend you check out this video. Maybe I'll play just a minute of it here for you.
Money globally, and I'm bringing that up today instead of just diving right into the video. I'm getting chills because there are the banking crisis is unfolding. It never went away. And what happened last March, April, well, a year ago, right, with Silicon in 2023, with Silicon Valley Bank and the other regional banks, was anything fixed? No, it was buried over or covered over. But on top of that, our system became weaker and more fragile. And when you feel safe, because after all, your bank has FDIC insurance, I have been showing you in a number of videos, and if you haven't watched all of them, we've got all the links below. Check them out. You can watch in real time this crisis unfolding so that you can make educated choices that put your best interest first, and you can get out of the way of this train wreck, because it is happening. It's not something I'm waiting for. So let's go back for just a second to the aftermath of the regional banking crisis. And rather than fixing things, what did they do? Bank lobbying climbs nearly 20% ahead of new Fed capital rules, because we don't want to change our behavior. We simply want to change how those are accounted for.
And again, it speaks back to what happened in 1913 with the Federal Reserve Act. And again, the guy speaks to something that is hugely powerful in that there was a time when we had economic veto power. We could say, nah, we're not good with this war. We're not good with this thing. We're not good with that. We're not going to buy these bonds because we're not good with that. And that 1913 Federal Reserve Act, sneakily done, I think, changed the game for all of us. And in the end, that's what it's about. That old money that I always talk about in my outro is those privately held, the people that privately own these central banks. And it does lead back to the Bank of England. And I think it's just hugely important to understand that and begin to unwind that. With Senator Massey looking to get rid of the Federal Reserve, with people now questioning the Federal Reserve president's role and the power, unfettered power that they're seemingly able to that they have and they're able to influence others with. It's time for it to come to an end. So I'm not down with any kind of central bank digital currency. I'm not down with anything that's central banking, anything that is central banking. I don't know how many times are we going to walk into a bank and not be able to get our money out before enough is enough? The reason why they're trying to debank the digital assets space industry is they're trying to prevent the off-ramps for when we want to off-ramp. That's what they're trying to do. And even the on-ramps. This digital asset space where you and I can send money to one another is a powerful thing. Without permission is a very, very powerful thing. And the old money, those privately held central bankers, they don't want that happening. So you can understand that there is a fight there, and we can put our vote where our generational wealth lies for those who are wanting to move this innovation, move this technology, who believe in self-custody, getting back to the days of self-custodying our own assets, self-custodying our own assets. Too many of us, and that included me, have fallen for the guise of APR and interest and turning over our assets for someone else, tax-free IRAs, tax-free self-directed IRAs, all of that stuff is still leaves you exposed to some other party that could make a mistake, or that at worst, at best, just makes a mistake, and at the worst, it's just a flat out con. And that's what's going on in the paper markets right now with the 401ks, with the mutual funds, with the money markets. Doesn't matter. If you can't hold it, you don't own it. And with the digital assets, we can hold it ourselves. We can custody it ourselves. We can do multi-factor authentication if you want to do that. If you want to do multi-sig, you can do that. This asset class is becoming an alternative to the old financial system or current financial system, and they're afraid of it. It ain't just about taxes. It's not just about taxes. We got to understand that. And hopefully, on this 4th of July, that kind of message of the way it used to be prior to 1913, I don't know, will spark some inspiration, motivation to do what we can to make a change. First thing I recommend is reading thegreattaking.com. Go to thegreattaking.com website, download that PDF, and read that prologue. I promise you, after you read that prologue, you will not want to put that book down. And you will begin, eyes will begin to become wide open to what is really, really, really going on. Yeah, and it's bad. And it's looking like the answer is the digital asset space. As long as we can make sure we get them off of those exchanges as much as we possibly can. Right? Because the world is recognizing this stuff is money. They just the EU, I mean, a large market just recognized stable coins as real money. It's a real deal. And if the EU is going to recognize stable coins as real money, that's the digital asset space. Right? That is the digital asset space. And we got to do our part to make sure that we get it done in the US and get out from underneath the foot of these privately owned central banks that go all the way back to the Bank of England. We're trying to rob us. Steal our wealth, take our wealth from us. So there it is. That's my crypto and that talk Thursday. Boy, yeah, happy 4th. I appreciate you guys checking in. I'm going to end this one like I do all my videos and remind you guys of this. Old money doesn't want you to win. But that's okay, though, because you and I, we're already winning. And I would ask you to consider this, perhaps ponder the idea or notion of living your life permissionless. I'll talk to you guys soon. See ya. Bye.